This is a meeting of the Township Committee, December 18, 2017. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the True River Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk on January 5, 2017. Committeeman Fiore.
Here.
Committeeman Perry.
Here.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Here.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our freedoms, constitutions, and way of life. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to, our first item on tonight's agenda, we have the administration of oath of office. I'd like to invite Corporal Mark Ward to please come forward with your family.
I, Mark Ward, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and I do swear to faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of sergeant according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
We'll take the committee, the mayor, for allowing us to make the promotion tonight. Sergeant Shaffer retired November 1st. We have a vacancy for sergeant. Mark was previously employed as a Monmouth County Sheriff's Officer, joined the Middletown Police Department in 1994 as a graduate of Middletown North. Veteran of the United States Marine Corps, where he served as an embassy guard in Kuwait, South Africa, and Brazil. With the department, he's an instructor in a number of subjects, including being one of our top pharmacy instructors and former member of the Emergency Services Unit. Very confident he's going to do an outstanding job, and very proud of him. Congratulations.
Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have the certificate recognizing the retirement of crossing guard Grace Barker. Would you like to please come forward?
Anybody who's ever seen any of our crossing guards, when were you in the school or oh boy, that's a tough one. I don't know how they do it. You see these people, cars flying by and everything, and they're leaving the stop sign and everything. It's just amazing. And I don't think they get the due credit that they really do sometimes, because it really is in all kinds of weather, all kinds of people rushing to work and getting, rushing to the train station if you're in one of those schools. So they really do a tremendous job. I'm very proud of them, and a well-deserved retirement.
Thank you.
Grace does not go home empty-handed. Here's the certificate. Upon your retirement, the Township of Middletown presents this certificate to Grace Barker. I would like to sincerely thank you for your 40 years, of dedicated service to the police department and our township. Your commitment and service will be remembered by the co-workers, school children, and parents whom you have touched throughout your many years as a crossing guard. We wish you happiness, health, and success in your much-deserved retirement. Thank you very much, Grace. I'm signing her last paycheck.
If my husband's here, can I bring my family up? Bring my family up? Bring my family up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And our chief is great, he's keeping Middletown safe. And Mayor, I always see you at all the affairs.
Yeah.
And, and I want to thank everyone for coming, I really appreciate it, it's busy time. And thanks to my boss and my family and my husband, and thank you all for coming, thank you.
Tonight's agenda, we have a certificate presentation recognizing Tom Garretson for outstanding community service. This time I'd like to invite Mr. Garretson to please come forward.
I always say this when I go to the VFW, and I'll say it here. I'm fairly tall in stature. When I walk into a room with Tom and the other veterans, I feel like the smallest guy in the room. These guys are giants among us. He has served his country so well, and after that, he has served those who served the country so well. By being a charter member of the Veterans Affairs Committee, that we formed here in Middletown, the first one in the state. And Tom has certainly built it into one of the powerhouse committees that we have in town. We are very proud of it. And I have to say, I'm still not over that you decided to step down. In fact,
47 years.
tell Tom we're not going to replace him for 3 months. So hopefully I can wear him down and change his mind. All right, Tom, I'm going to read you. I hope you have a big old man along with you. You have so many of these here. Certificate of recognition presented to Tom Garretson in honor of outstanding community service. In special recognition of your exemplary community service and unyielding dedication to the veterans of Middletown. Your contributions have changed Middletown for the better, and your example will leave a lasting impact on its residents. We are forever grateful of the time and effort you have invested in our town and our deserving veterans. Tom, thank you, and God bless you for everything you've done for us.
First of all, it was an honor to be part of the beginnings of the Middletown Veterans Affairs Committee. I've been very active. I think my calling in life is a volunteer. I took it more serious than my job, I think, at times. I started out in 1970 volunteering up in Jersey City. I was with the JCs. I just happened to get 84 kids out from underprivileged kids, boys, girls, for a week vacation at no charge for their parents, and we had medical exams for them and transportation and so on. That was one of the things that was a big highlight to me. But before I get into that, I want to thank, right here tonight, our committee. Committee guys, please stand up. He's taught me. I thought I knew a lot, but you know what? When he came aboard onto the committee, he was a huge asset to this committee and to this town. Rich Furlong, Marty Keating. Marty Keating and I went on a bus the same day when we went into the service, June 2nd, 1965. Went down to out to Newark, and from Newark we went to Fort Dix for our basic. He was my section sergeant because he knew the order of march because he was with the St. Patrick's Drum and Bugle Corps in Jersey City, down in Lafayette. Here I meet Marty working on the different projects. But anyway, I want to thank Jerry for getting me onto the committee. He put his ear to the ground, Jimmy D'Elia, and he did his homework. He found out that I was kind of an active guy and involved. We're fortunate, Middletown is fortunate throughout the country. We have people that care, a committee, township committee, that cares about veterans, their families, the military, anything, and they want our input. They don't want to embarrass anyone. They don't want to say the wrong thing, and they bounce things off us. And we're up front. We're guys, put us in foxholes, and we tell it like it is. But I want to thank all the new member of the committee, Perry, emailed me about the $3,000 deduction for the veterans that the state is providing. He just come aboard onto the committee, and what is he think? He's thinking about veterans. Thank you for that email. The biggest project I ever worked on, and it was the one I was waiting for all in 47 years. was the street sign. You see the KIA street signs in town is going to be 58. Middletown residents who were killed in the war, whatever war, what World War I, Korea, World War II, Vietnam, one Iraq. That, and this is where the departments, every door was open, whether it be Heidi's office, she researched the couple of ordinances on the names of getting the streets named. Tony, our town administrator, he watched and made sure we went about business the right way. Tony, thank you. You kept us on our toes, right guys? Zoning, Marianne, Maureen, in the mayor's office. Communication with the mayor's office with our committee is right on. Paula, Tara, and her assistant. And the late Cindy Hertzgraf. She was a spark plug for us. She was at 13 street sign dedications, she was at 12. But there again, Ted Maloney and Bobby Kimball, who actually had ordered the signs that to get the dedications going. Ted, you're phenomenal. Chief Weber, Deputy Chief Dollinger, coming out to dedications to the Doughboy rededication and to the Vietnam. I know I'm taking it, but the residents of this town should know that these guys are real. Everybody's doing it. That's why I say we are the luckiest in this town, and I want to thank the committee. Here.
Thank you.
Township.
Tonight's agenda, I would like to announce a proclamation commending Patrolman Ekne Montalvo, for his service in Puerto Rico. If Patrolman Montalvo would like to go
That makes me feel really bad. She gets Schottenberger right every time. Okay. Before I read the proclamation, I just want to say, you know what? When we first heard about this, what we were doing, and the chief explained it to us, I thought, gee, what a great idea. And it just goes to show that as well as Middletown is policed, as much as the police do for the town, it sometimes expands beyond the boundaries. And we're really happy that you're able to do this, and I think we really made a big difference. I have somebody on my staff who's an American in Puerto Rico, and for a week or two, nobody could get in contact with anybody. So you really see it was total devastation, and anybody who stepped up to help those people at that time really is pretty special. I'm very proud. With that, Officer Ekne Montalvo. Okay. Whereas the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office, in conjunction with local towns, the New Jersey Office of Emergency Management and New Jersey State Police, sent a group of officers to Puerto Rico to assist in the recovery efforts from Hurricanes Irma and Maria. It has been the largest undertaking of its kind since Hurricane Katrina, and whereas Middletown Township Patrolman Ekne Montalvo left for Puerto Rico on November 4th, 2017 to help with the recovery efforts, along with 9 other Monmouth County officers. They were there for 2 weeks and returned on November 18th. And whereas Patrolman Montalvo was assigned to a post in Cawas. Never would have gotten it. Puerto Rico to assist with security and traffic control due to the damage from the storm. His team also handed out food, water, and other supplies to local citizens, including some of his family members. Whereas Patrolman Montalvo, a U.S. Army veteran who served during Operation Iraqi Freedom, made it his mission to help keep local citizens safe and provide positivity and support during a difficult time. And whereas the Middletown Township wishes to be one of the members of the Middletown Township Police Department in honoring Ekne Montalvo for his dedication to the hurricane recovery and relief efforts in Puerto Rico. And therefore, I, Mayor Jerry Schaffenberger, and the Middletown Township Committee do hereby wish to take this opportunity to commend Ekne Montalvo for his dedication and passion in aiding those affected by the hurricanes in Puerto Rico. Thank you for your extraordinary service, and we are so proud of everything you've done, and you've made us look so good. Thank you very much.
Just want to mention, the prosecutor's office reached out. They're looking for 10 police officers from Monmouth County that were, first preference went to bilingual. They're looking for guys with certain skill set for OEM and military background. Reached out to a few people. I think it took Ekne about 5 minutes. He said, let me check with my family, and he said, I'll do it. And he had less than a week to get packed up and shipped out. So, and they worked minimum 12 hours a day for 14 days straight down there. He's a very humble, honest guy, but he did an outstanding job. Actually interceded in a domestic violence incident, prevented what probably would have been a murder or a suicide while he was down there. Recovered stolen cars. Really was impacted with devastation. The police stations in the area where he was working were uninhabitable. They were knocked out. There was no power. We were in regular communication. I know it affected him. He got a chance to visit some family that were going through difficult times, and he actually had, I believe it was an uncle that was a retired San Juan police officer.
27 years, San Juan officer.
Passed away in cancer, so he happened to be there to support the family at the same time. So it was a very emotional experience for me. He didn't have to say anything job representing Middletown. We're never able to help. You want to add anything?
I just want to say thank you, Middletown, for letting me get the opportunity to volunteer myself to actually get the experience to help the people of Puerto Rico. And I must say, I work with the best department. Thank you so much, Chief. I really appreciate it. Very proud. Appreciate it.
Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have a congratulatory certificates for High School South Girls Cross Country Team for winning NJSIAA North 2 Group 3 State Sectional Championship. And at this time, I'd like to call everyone up individually, and you can accept your certificate, and then if you just remain up here standing with the mayor, and then the mayor will have a few words to say. I'd like to start with Principal of High School South, Matthew Kirkpatrick. The coaches, William Clifton and Kathleen Clifton. And on the team, we have Ryan Mulligan, Tess Bizzoso, Danielle Smith, Michelle Coyote, Kathleen Shea, Shannon Dario, and Madison Brand. We have the congratulatory certificate for High School South Girls Varsity Soccer Team for winning the NJSIAA North 2 Group 3 State Sectional Championship. I'd like to invite Principal of High School South, Matthew Kirkpatrick, to please come forward again, Head Coach Megan Barry, and on the team we have Jess Cuccello, Helena Cannon, Jordan Keegi, Kira Prince, Sarah Valenti, Patsy Lennon, Jess Monahan, Emma Bennett, Filomena De Gregorio, Emma Laudisi, Haley Nicholas, Gabrielle Smith, Lindsay Thompson, Emma Cusano, Elena Collins, Dina Causaris, Emily McCarthy, Kelsey Niclario, Hillary Burns, Gabrielle Cook, Rachel Hudson, Grace Missel, Luciana Powell, Sierra Ramos, and Sija Schnorr. And Christina Sun.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
ordinance 2017-3213, an ordinance setting rates for additional solid waste and recycling parks.
Okay, are there any members of the public who would like to speak to ordinance number 2017-3213? Yeah, hey, Eric. Sure. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak to ordinance number 2017-3213? Solid. Yeah.
I read this over. Earlier, you stopped me, I didn't, Shady Oak was also Riverside, Middletown. Public service, thanks. I read over this ordinance, and I had read in newspapers and maybe reading before this when this was introduced. And I noticed that we have a lawsuit, $17 million filed about this kind of stuff. I hope it doesn't cost any money that like which Tim Falls experienced at $1.2 million. We don't need that here. I live in Shady Oaks, and I read this over, and I don't think it's applicable. The applicability of this doesn't fit a condominium development of 366 units because they're talking about parks. We did have a compactor that was used apparently by condominium owners, and the construction people came in, didn't want to pay their tip at the dump or whatever, so it was better clarified in any public meeting at the Shady Oaks condominium board meetings. I've been told, so they hauled away the compactor because it was mechanically destroyed. We've been I think in a temporary solution, putting out our trash separately, not in a single stream. We put it out Monday morning for Monday pickup, Wednesday morning for Wednesday pickup, and Friday morning for Friday pickup. And I believe the vehicles that are paid for and operated by Shady Oaks Condominium Association, they run it up to Lane's Lane, that's what I've been told. I don't know how you cut the money, who's paying what.
Leo, are you speaking specifically to this ordinance?
Yes,
Okay, just if you relate it to the ordinance itself.
The ordinance is about the can.
It's relevant. It's relevant to the ordinance because I don't think it deals with Shadow Lake, 900 units or more, and Shady Oaks, because I've been told by the manager and been told by one of your public works people conflicting stories, not that the public works person may not be an authority. He said that there was a compactor going to be put up there. We have two spots right now. Today I went over to the manager, I said, I need a clarification of what's going on. Just a minute, please.
Hey, Leo, this is specifically for the can.
No, this is specifically
here
for
on
cans.
that board.
No, only on the cans.
Yeah.
If you wanted an additional.
Is that?
No.
Yes, yeah.
The condominium communities have privately contracted services, which are then, most of them have privately contracted services, which are then reimbursed through municipal services agreement with the township. So this ordinance is inapplicable to those communities that have collection systems like a dumpster, compactor, whatever that is. That's determined between the condo association and your individual contractor, which then your condo association receives a reimbursement through the municipal services agreement with the township for those services. So this is inapplicable to condominium communities that have privately contracted collection.
So you contracted a private hauler for 5 years, and with the anticipation that you're going to have the property owners pay less. That's what I understand. Okay?
That's correct.
I'd like to see the statistics when it's all over, by the way. However, we are not included at Shady Oaks in that private hauler, Tinton Falls government contract. We're excluded from it. Are we excluded from that contract?
The most condominium communities are not part of that contract. I don't know specifically about yours, but most of them are reimbursed under a municipal services agreement. Some are, depends on the arrangements there, whether it's more efficient to do with the township's contractor or whether the condominium community has its own contractor. Some condominium communities like to pay for additional services beyond those provided to the rest of the township, and they're allowed to do that, but they only get reimbursed commensurate with what the rest of the township collectively pays through taxation.
There's ambiguity and dubiousness in your explanation to me. It's not abstruse, but there's a lack of clarity in all details. So I'm wondering whether this government and the staff members, as in Public Works, is in communication with our manager and our lawyer, and what do they know about what's going on? Because I can't get information. I'd love to come in and sit down with whomever, so I could have an opportunity to understand what's going on in our disposal of a single stream of waste. But I don't know what's going on, and I'm interested keenly in what the cost is. And I'd like to get a lesser cost too.
Come back up for the public comment. This is on this ordinance, which is not related to that, but I'm sure we can answer those questions during the public comment.
You mean at the very end?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Leo. Would anybody else care to speak to ordinance number 2017-3213? Okay, seeing no further members of the public come forward, we can close the public portion and move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Perry.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on second and final reading. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have approval of minutes for October 30th, 2017 special meeting, November 13th, 2017 executive session, and regular meeting minutes.
Move for approval.
Second. Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Perry.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt the minutes. At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee to adopt a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 17-285 through 17-298, including bingo and raffle applications and volunteer firefighter applications.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Perry.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt the consent agenda. At this time, we have Township Committee comments.
Okay, Mr. Sedambrino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just two comments this evening. With the extent of the dedications this evening and recognitions, there's something that you can string together with all of them. Whether it's Tom Garretson's 47 years mayor, 58th Street sign dedication, or whether it's Grace Barker's 40 years of service, or whether it's Patrolman Montalvo's service in Puerto Rico. There's something that we can all aspire to. I want to make sure that we understand that these are people that have given the majority of their careers, have dedicated themselves to the greater good, and that's certainly something that is beyond words. The one thing that I would like to say that I can't seem to aspire to, but my daughter can, is certainly the girls' varsity soccer team championship. She's 6. She plays soccer, so as she continues with that, I hope that she can aspire to that as well. But that's something that we should all take away from this evening. It's something that we can do better and do for the greater good for the community and for the state. And the only other comment this evening there is, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, I've seen Santa too many times, once on the cruise, the cruise to the Statue of Liberty, and then again at the Christmas tree lighting. So I'm Santa out, and my kids can continue to see him time and time again. So with that, I'd like to thank you for a great year, and I wish everyone a great holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perry, you're up. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to congratulate our newly sworn-in Sergeant Mark Ward. His experience is something that Middletown will greatly value. And so I just want to congratulate him and his family. Congratulate Grace on her 40 years of service to Middletown. I met her at the Senior Center Holiday Luncheon at Shore Casino a few weeks ago, and she said, "You're going to see me soon," and I said, "Well, I can't wait for that to occur." So I'm thrilled that she was here tonight, being honored, because she deserves it. Tom Garretson, what can you say about a guy? There's nothing greater than the heart of a volunteer, and Tom exudes that day in and day out, and we, Middletown, and we as Township Committee members are so incredibly fortunate to have Tom. And then finally, I just want to congratulate, obviously, the girls cross-country team, the Middletown South cross-country team, and then the varsity soccer team. Congratulations to both of them. And everyone, I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fiore.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to briefly echo my colleague's sentiment, we are so very fortunate here in Middletown to have such a great group of citizen volunteers, and this town thrives on volunteerism. So I cannot say enough about the volunteers that we recognize this evening, the volunteers that continue, whether they're helping out Middletown Helps Its Own, whether it's the volunteer firemen, driving around all over the town with Santa on their truck for the little kids. We are just so very fortunate to have such great people who invest in the community, and it really is the fabric and strength of this community. So I wanted to take a second to recognize not only those this evening that we recognize as a formal committee, but also all volunteers that continue to make this town so very great. I see Mr. Panzika here, who runs our volunteer corps, so thank you as always for all those that you get to help us also. The only other comment I will make is, as we get to the end of the year, Mayor, I mean, there's plenty to talk about at every meeting, but I just wanted to take a second to, as I do every end of our last Township Committee meeting in the Committee Form of Government, to thank you for your leadership this year as our head of the Township Committee. I could not think of a better ambassador for Middletown Township, of a better statesman that always puts this committee in the best possible light, and for all the events that you go to, and Deputy Mayor Murray and my colleagues in the committee. But as the mayor and as our leader of the committee this year, a wonderful job that you have done in leadership, and I thank you for leading our committee this year to a great year in 2017. And I look forward to a tremendous 2018 for Middletown as a whole, for our residents, for the committee. And on that note, I wish everybody a very happy, healthy holiday season on behalf of myself and my family, and everyone a very happy new year. I look forward to seeing you all on reorganization, which I believe is January 6th. So, thank you. 7. See, I would have been here a day early.
Thank you. Thanks. Deputy Mayor Murray, you're up.
Occupational hazard, with being one of the last people to go up here, my colleagues covered a lot of the great stuff that, of course, rather than bore you all and repeat what we spoke about, and I'm going to give the mayor some time to talk about some of the fantastic events we went to, also including the firefighter elections and fire department elections and the tree lighting, but it's no secret that I have great love for this town, and you know, all the people in this room tonight, and the awards and the recognition, you know, those are the reasons why. We're very, very fortunate to be in this town, and with that, I think I'm just gonna kick it over to you, Mayor, and thank you also for your tremendous leadership through the years and your sage advice and your constant support. So it's been a pleasure to be your deputy mayor.
Thank you, and it has been an absolute labor of love.
And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays. Now,
Thank you. Okay, just a few things, and we have a sort of unwritten rule where we don't make a lot of comments at workshops, so we build up about a month worth of activities here. And one of the things that Committeeman Fiore and I attended was the Middletown Helps Its Own fundraiser. It's an annual fundraiser, and they do a tremendous job every year. And they certainly serve a lot of meals and a lot of food throughout the season, throughout the year, but certainly during the holiday season. And you know, we think of Middletown as sort of, if you had a 50,000-foot view, as a sort of affluent community, but it's certainly as diverse as anywhere, probably more so. And they do a great job of sort of being that safety net for folks who may fall between the cracks. So we really are very honored to have them a part of the town. I know Don Scrivanik is getting up in years. He's been at this over 50 years, right, Tony? I think in 1965 or so, when Tom Garretson was first getting going to boot camp. You know? But great job, and again, they really make us proud every year. We're fortunate too in Middletown to have 2 tree lightings. We had the Ideal Beach Association tree lighting on November 30th. That's not November 30th. Yeah, it was December 2nd, I think. So they're not in the back. So, and it was a great event. They had well over 100 people there, and it's the 4th one, and each year gets a little bit bigger. And for folks who are not familiar with that part of town, it really is a sort of an unsung jewel, I think, in the crown of Middletown here. And it's beautiful. It's one of those places, one of the few places in New Jersey where you can live near the beach and not be named Springsteen or Bon Jovi. And it really is a beautiful place aesthetically, but also a great place because the people who live there really care about it, and they're making this Ideal Beach Association a model for the rest of the town. So it was a great event. I always enjoy going up there, and look forward to the next event that'll be coming up shortly, I'm sure. Also, we had the Township tree lighting at the Art Center, and there were well over 1,000 people there. It was wall-to-wall smiling kids, and it was a great event, and you know, certainly the energy inside the room with Santa and the carolers and all of that, it's just a great thing. And as big as Middletown is, we still manage to maintain that small town feel, and you really see it at those kind of events where you can get up close and see the kids enjoying themselves, and it really makes you feel good. We were all lucky enough to be there. We also had the 4th in a series of forums dedicated roughly towards development, and this one was focused on open space and development. And the administrator, Tony Mercatante, and I, you know, sort of co-chaired the forum. And it's one of those things that we really want people to know the breadth of what we have here. I know it's a little bit demoralizing sometimes when you see patch of woods clear cut, or you know, bulldozers coming out in Grayling area that used to be open space. And you know, while legally, you know, you can't say we don't want this or we have enough of this. On the other side of the coin, we have been very successful, I think, in purchasing and preserving a lot of open space. And we have almost 6,000 acres, not counting you know, deed restrictions and conservation easements and things like that. So once in a while, it's good to step back and sort of appreciate what you've been able to do rather than just lament what you haven't been able to do. So it was a great event. It was fairly well attended for the season in the middle of the week, and it will be on the local Middletown channel starting January. Yeah, okay, January. So if you didn't miss it, you can watch it as often as you can, as you want. And but it was a really great event, and it sort of opened my eyes too when you see all the open space, Sandy Hook, these big, beautiful nature reserves that we have here, and something to be very proud of. We also had the election of the fire chief last Saturday, and what a great event. There were over 200 people packed into the Lincroft Firehouse, and it was raucous, and the energy was great, and certainly they're one of the best examples of the volunteer spirit that we have here. For those of you who don't know, I'm always proud to remind, what Guinness always reminds us of, that they're the largest volunteer fire department in the world. Volunteer fire department, yeah. And we're very proud of them. The men and women of the Middletown Fire Department do a great job, and it's, the camaraderie and the spirit there is immeasurable. And finally, last but not least, Liberty Travel had an open house. And if you're like me, you think, Liberty Travel, gee, doesn't everybody do this online? And apparently, they're growing, and there's still a market for travel agencies as sort of the go-between for for a lot of people who want to get better deals that they can get through through block purchases and things like that. But the best thing, the reason I'm saying this, is that they've offered to start programs for discounts for the veterans and the first responders. So very proud of that they are looking to step up and be a part of the community that way, and certainly reward those who are most deserving. So with that, I think you've had enough out of me. Last thing I will say is have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And with that, I'm going to open up the public comments. Before we do public comments, I just want to remind everybody to please state your name and address for the record. And please keep your comments to 5 minutes. We really have to enforce that just to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak within a reasonable hour. If you want to be on the 5 minutes, that's fine. We'd be happy to stay afterwards and talk further, okay? So with that, who would care to speak? Okay, see. All right, Leo. I have a quick hope tonight, Leo. You can't wait.
Here beside me, River Plaza, Middletown. I would like to know what I can be informed within 5 minutes about what the trash hauling situation is up in over in Shady Oaks.
Yeah, the Shady Oaks Association contracts with their own vendor to collect their garbage, and the township collects your recycling.
The township what?
The township's contractor collects your recycling from the central area on your site there.
The township hauls away recyclables.
Yes. Not garbage, only recyclables.
Not garbage. That means newspapers and bottles.
Yes.
So the Shady Oaks hauls its garbage probably up to Kane's Lane.
Not the garbage. They haul their garbage. One of their contractors comes. They hire a contractor who takes it to probably the Monmouth County dump.
So we talk about 3 things: bottles, paper, and garbage. And Shady Oaks hires its own private haulers.
For the garbage only.
So the township hauls the others.
Yes.
And so
Well, right now, we actually, our staff does it right now in Shady Oaks, but in January, the contractor that's taking over will take your recycling away. They've already been in contact, we had site meetings with your association manager.
are you going to have the association rent or buy their dumpsters, which I have been told by the manager that they will have one in one spot and another one in another spot, and that's not adequate. They'll have 2 in 2 spots. It seems to me you can have 1 in each spot. You just increase the number of pickups. Okay, at any rate, what is it costing us and Shady Oaks people in paying the township for whatever service they provide us in this area we're under discussion?
For recycling?
And any area under this discussion, recycling, single streaming, whatever you want.
Recycling, it's the same as any other resident in town. It's provided by the township, just like any other resident in town.
Yeah, but we don't have carts.
Right, you have a centralized location where, what we did is we set a meeting up with your management and then the new contractor and our recycling coordinator, and they met on site. And basically, our new contractor agreed to pretty much set it up however your association wanted it set up.
Have you been in communication with our board, our lawyer, and our manager?
Yes, I haven't personally, but our recycling coordinator has been, yes.
Who's the coordinator, please?
Jim Nicolario,
I don't know the name.
he's been in contact with your board.
Okay. I may be back. I'll try to work this out through my board and try to get as much information from them. If I can't get information from them, we have a new manager. He's managed somewhere before. I talked to him today. As I said, he's not abstruse, he's not ambiguous, but he can't provide any information. So that's why I'm here tonight, to try to find out if they're at least in communication. So I'm satisfied that there's some communication going on, but I'll have to find out from my side. I'll probably go to a board meeting, and I might be here the 18th of January, so keep watching it.
You can always call me if you want.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And all the other labels that fall under that category. Happiness to all.
Okay. Yes, sir.
From 6
Yeah,
South
we
Bay
will.
Lane.
No, something like that.
Continuing the garbage situation.
Just name and address.
Yeah, 6 Oxford Lane,
Yeah.
Middletown.
In the
Kingsland, Thomas Run.
Okay.
To continue with the garbage, I spoke to our manager today. We don't have the blue garbage cans. He's been trying to contact you or your office for a week. We didn't get a call.
Who is this?
Kingsland.
Mark?
Yes, Mark Watkins.
He has my email, I haven't heard from him directly, I'll give him a call or email. I'm pretty sure he's been in contact with us. I'll talk to him directly.
Right.
I'll give him a call.
Yeah, we have no blue cans here.
Okay, I'll talk to him tomorrow.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
And yes, I do love the Santa that drives by our house. Bring the dog
Who
out.
doesn't?
My name is Oli DiCenzo, and my address is 59 Kings Highway. And I'd like to ask about ordinance 17294. Are we talking about that tonight? It has to do with the redevelopment resolution.
Oh, there's a resolution. Yeah.
So it has been designated, correct?
You may want to explain that, where it stands right now.
So,
Background music. Oh, really?
yeah, so procedurally, once the planning board makes a recommendation that the area in question meets the criteria as an area needed redevelopment, they forward that recommendation to the township committee, which they did after their meeting on December 6th. And then the township committee can implement that by adopting a resolution establishing the areas and the area needed redevelopment. So that's what's been done at this point. So right now, the area has been established that it meets the statutory criteria as an area needed redevelopment. that's where we are right now.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, now I have a bunch of questions. I know you all live and read this, but this has been very confusing for many of us. So please bear with me.
Well, we would have to keep it within 5, otherwise we would answer,
Okay,
you know.
work it out.
I don't want you to have to rush through it if you need more explanation.
With the redevelopment resolution approved or adopted, will the Village 35 application be heard on January 10th? No?
Well, it's unlikely. I mean, we can't tell an applicant what not to proceed, but we don't believe they'll proceed. I mean,
And that ties into my next question. I was wondering, we were wondering if NRDC pulled their application. And if not, what happens with their application going forward if this has been adopted?
The National Realty application hasn't been pulled, it's just they placed themselves on hold at their request to the board, so.
Okay.
So it hasn't been deleted or removed, they put it on hold.
So that they might be heard, their application might be heard even though this redevelopment resolution's been adopted?
That'll be their selection. I believe their choice was to place their application on hold until the January meeting.
Now I'm really confused.
It's, as the Commissioner said, it's unlikely that they would proceed, but we can't tell them not to proceed.
It's their choice.
It's their prerogative.
It's the applicant.
So it's unlikely now that we're going to do that this area is being studied, but they can, if they want to proceed, or they can put it on hold pending the outcome of the study.
yeah, I mean, keep in mind, we're at stage 1 of a 2-stage process, right? So the stage, well, I mean, the 3-stage process, if you count the site plan approval, but the 2 stages of redevelopment, the designation of the area as meeting statutory criteria, and the next phase is to do a redevelopment plan, to come up with an actual design of what could be developed there. And that's done, that'll be the next phase. So while an applicant could forge ahead with their site plan application if they wanted to, generally not in their interest to do that because the whole idea is for the town applicants and the community to kind of work in concert and try to come up with a plan that's, maybe meets some of everyone's interests. And so that's the stage we're at now. So I would hope that they wouldn't force their application through. I don't anticipate that they'll do that. But, we'll know as we get closer to January 10th, and, I know you're in touch with us regularly, so you'll know.
That's true. Next question I have that relates to this is, if the ordinance is contested and the township loses, then what?
If the designation as a redevelopment area is contested, well, let's not presume that.
Well, I'm just asking.
But if it were to be, then we would have to deal, the planning board and the township committee would have to deal with that legal challenge. I don't think it prevents anything from continuing to move forward, but create something of a cloud over the proceedings if there was a pending litigation. We'd then have to strategize and discuss whether it made sense to move forward or to wait till the litigation was resolved.
So that one could still be, if this is contested, then one could still be formulating different plans for,
Check.
yes.
This thing getting contested, just like the garbage contract is moving forward, but just because somebody's contesting it doesn't mean that it stops unless it stays issued. So in like that case, they tried to stop it twice, they lost both times in court,
Right.
and, their case is still alive, but it doesn't stop anything unless it stays issued.
Thank you. I just have another couple of questions.
Oh, wait, we're at 5 minutes already.
Are we around 5 minutes?
Yeah, so we can, go over the questions afterwards. I just want to give everybody a chance who would want to speak. And, we have to keep it consistent, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, my name is Don Watson, living at 1 Collinson Drive in Lamont. In fact, it took me back a couple weeks. I was down in Alexandria, Virginia, and they have this parade down here every So thank you for whoever's playing the music. Also, a little comment about Ideal Beach. I remember when I was 5 years old in 1959, and the township offered free swimming lessons to every child 5 years or older at Ideal Beach. You know, the water wasn't in that great of condition back then, but you know, we were able to get some free swimming lessons out of that, and that's where I learned how to swim. I see resolution 285 tonight, where we had $1.6 million in surplus that was supposed to go to pay off the principal. I was wondering why we didn't make that principal payment.
That was funding that was put in the budget. We weren't sure when the town hall project would be beginning and if we had to sell any notes this year for it. So we had put money in there to pay it down if that was the case, but the project did not move forward in 17, so that money gets lapsed to surplus and it'll be brought back forward for the same purpose next year.
So that 1.6 million is designated for the new town hall center?
It's
The new
designated,
center?
right, designated if we move forward with the town hall project. In case we need to have a payment available, we have it in the budget.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering how the bids came in last week for that project? Were they favorable or?
Well, just to clarify, they're not bids, they're proposals, and so it's a little bit of a different process. So we're reviewing the proposals now, fairly complicated. So maybe there may be some further discussion with the two bidders, or two proposers, and so we're not going to be making any decisions about that probably until
next year.
Sure, for sure, next year, towards the end of January.
All right, great. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I get out already, just in case.
I know.
Only these.
These are going to be public
Name and address?
Sorry?
Name and address?
I'm Manning, 36 First Drive.
Just point the mic too, because.
Is that good?
Yeah. If the table picks it up, if it's not the right.
Okay. Is there going to be a public forum before the RFPs go out so that the township committee can hear the comments, ideas, and suggestions from the public prior to any new redevelopment plans being presented to the township? This is for, I'm so sorry, I'm talking about the redevelopment project for the Village 35 site. So the public wanted to know if there would be some input allowed from the public prior to the RFPs going out for these redevelopers.
Yeah. We were discussing that too.
That's different from the town hall. I think redevelopment is too.
This is, no, redevelopment, yeah.
But there wouldn't be RFPs for Mountain Hill. The Mountain Hill site is the township doesn't own it, it's privately owned.
Right.
It's a non-condemnation redevelopment designation, so the township is not condemning the property and taking it and soliciting proposals. So what would happen is there would the redevelopment, any redevelopment plan would function as the new zoning for the site, and that has to be done by ordinance. So yes, there would be public comment periods on that ordinance that would effectuate the redevelopment plan. So that's and then
You would get proposals in from some kind of redeveloper?
well, the redeveloper for the site, the owners of the site, or contract purchasers, or whomever, they would. It's not an RFP process. It's just it's a back and forth discussion, negotiations. So this is the study. No, this is the second phase. We're jumping forward to the second phase. This study is complete. The study is complete. The designation has been made, so it met the statutory criteria, which isn't too difficult to do under the law, to just say that it can be a redevelopment area, that it qualifies as a redevelopment area. So the second phase is the adoption of a redevelopment plan. So that has to be adopted by ordinance. There's multitudes of ways that that can be discussed, negotiated, but by ordinance it obviously has to have a public hearing. Here at the Township Committee, it has to go to the planning board for master plan performance review, and then back to the township committee for adoption. So there's 3 steps in that process before you can even be introduced. And then after that, there still has to be a site plan, application, just as there would be in the normal course after that's adopted.
What's the timeline for the next stage? Just
Yeah, I mean,
is it 30 days? Is it?
No, probably longer than that. I would say, my best guess would be 2 to 3 months, probably, period.
Okay, so 2 to 3 months for exactly, can you just?
For the introduction of a plan.
Okay, and that will be presented at a public meeting of some kind?
It'll actually be presented at multiple public meetings, both here and the planning board, which you'll have a chance to comment.
Okay, understand, but the public is just very confused, there's a lot of stages, so we're trying to understand.
But it's not an RFP process, so I don't want to confuse it with the town hall. Like the town hall is an RFP process because the township owns the property, soliciting proposals for a specific project. And, there's all different ways in which you can do that. So it's a different, I just don't want you to confuse the both.
Yeah,
That's all.
I'm going to clear that up, I was confused about
Yeah.
it. So that's perfect. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that there will be some hopeful public involvement.
Multiple times.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I'm William Carl Thomas, the resident of Middletown at 5 Pennybrook Lane, and you probably think I decided to follow everybody on Mining Middletown because of my participation and activity with that fine committee, but I'm not standing up for that. I decided to be in my other hat, this one, all right? I'm also the priest in charge at Christ Church Middletown on the corner of Church Street and Kings Highway, and I really wanted to just say a couple of things to the board. The first part is, on that corner, somebody has been praying for government since we were founded in 1705, 1702.
Yeah.
The king, we took care of that. But we do pray for the president, we pray for the governor-elect, the mayors of our various communities. We don't, the councilors, and it just gets to be too long. But we do pray for government, so I want you to know that you are prayed for. This is hard work, all right? So don't forget that. The other thing I wanted to commend the board with, because you don't get commended enough, and I want to commend Mr. Montalvo, because he and I were at a meeting, sadly, 1.5 years ago, where we finally got approval from the state historical folks, the traffic light out, which is like half done.
I can't wait for it to be built.
You don't give them, okay, yes, we're all in agreement. So, whatever's been done to get us this far, besides the utilities being slow, if there's anything that we at Christ Church can do to assist in getting the voice forward, to do that, I know you're probably doing everything you can do. It's going to beautify the middle of Middletown, so we're looking forward to that. So I just wanted to say that, and just basically say to you this. God bless you, God keep you safe through this particular season where we declare, as it says out front, season's greetings with the creche, but we also have a menorah. We try to honor all the various citizens, no matter what their creeds are. It's a difficult thing to try to figure out, to be the government of the people, by the people, for the people. So thank you for doing the work you're doing and listening as hard as you're trying to listen through all the stuff that you do. So just God bless you and keep you safe. Thank you.
I'll just follow up on that. Middletown's a very traditional place, and we get a lot of comments on the manger scene and the menorah, and people say, gee, thank you, this is great. It's so refreshing to see that. And it's something that we feel very strongly about, that it's a tradition that we are not going to allow, to be forced out or to be minimized in any way. And I think that's one of the great things about this town, is that we're willing to stand up for, for American values and what built this country, let's face it. So it's good to see people do notice it, and we're right there with making sure that it continues on. Thank you. Okay, see, I did that under 5 minutes, so I'm not breaking my own rule. Is there anybody else who would care to speak? All right, seeing no further members of the public come forward, move to close the public portion and move for adjournment.
Second.
Short.
Yes.
William Perry.
Yes.
William Sedillo.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpling.
Yes.